Rudy knew exactly what he wanted to say to explain it all to Jeanette, but he couldn't tell her the exact thing which motivated him. He called her the next day around 4:30, and at first Jeanette didn't answer. She was waiting with Lucille to be picked up from school. They were talking, and Jeanette didn't want to be rude and answer her phone in the middle of their conversation, but Lucille said, "For all you know, it could be urgent. You might want to answer that." Jeanette said it wasn't a number she recognized, and maybe it was a wrong number, so maybe they could continue their conversation, but then Lucille's mother's car pulled up and she said goodbye. "Hello?" "Hi. To make things clear for you, he can't see you as a child. Don't be offended by that, because what you'll need is already there. You'll just have to bring it to his attention." "But you said I already got his attention." "Yes, but you'll need to hold it." "You kind of said this last time, but I still don't know where you're going with this." "Not really shy. You have some bit of mystery about you. You could use that quality to your advantage. When my plan comes in, you'll have secret meetings with me, but you'll say you'll be meeting a friend or going to a friend's house. Then it will slowly appear that you have a secret relationship, the more you dress up. But it won't be a secret. As time goes on, it will be less secret and more pretend obvious, but only to him." "Do you mean it would be a pretend secret relationship with you? Would that be a problem?" "Nope." "Good. Rudy, I have to go. Dane is picking me up." "Okay. See you this weekend?" "Sure. Bye." As she got inside the car with Dane, Jeanette felt such excitement she could hardly contain it. Instead of looking at Dane, she directed her gaze out the window, with her smile reaching her lips and eyes. Jeanette took a deep breath, letting it out slowly as she contemplated all that was to come with anticipation. "What's wrong? Haven't you been here before?" "Yes, but I've never been here with—" "Never been out here with a boy, huh? Where's your hat?" "You didn't tell me to bring one." "Cranberry red looks good on you." "But it's yours. Are you sure it doesn't look too big?" "Looks good on you. Try not to let it fall on your face. Don't look down. I like when I can see your eyes." "Where do you want to go first?" "Why are you being so kind to me?" "I want to know you first, so I know how I can help you with them. Take it as practice. It's a date." "It is, isn't it?" "Yes. The idea is he'd think I'm your boyfriend after a while, but we have to understand each other first. We'll have to know more about each other in order for it to work." "It's not real." "But in order for it to have a realistic date feel with him, you'll have to know what a realistic date would be like. And I'd have to know what areas you need more practice in to help you get more confident and comfortable with it so that you'll be ready. After a while, you'll know how to play along with it, and you'll relax. Even if you're acting, the emotions come from somewhere real." "You don't think I'd be ready to go on a date with him? I would right now if I could." "I know, and somewhere deep inside he might get that sense, too. He's had plenty of girls be all shy with him, too. He didn't date them. I'm not saying you need to be different from who you are. Who you are already, you caught his eye. You just need to be different to him from all the other girls. I'm not going to tell you who to be. Stay true to you." "Then how are you supposed to help me?" "I'll help you to overcome your shyness, and when you become comfortable with me, you'll find it easier to get closer to him. Now, tell me where your favorite stores are. We'll go there." As they set off together, she realized Rudy was right. She did need practice, because being in stores with him, she felt so self-conscious. people noticed them together, and she couldn't help but wonder how it might appear to them, and if they noticed too how interested Rudy seemed to be in learning about her. She tried to relax when talking to him about things like when they go into a small bookshop, and she'd discuss a book she'd recently read, or when laughing over greeting cards in a gift shop. She found that as the evening went on, it was easier to be more open, realizing that Rudy would go into any store she asked. It was easier, as the evening came, to not get distracted if people looked at them funny. They went to an old-fashioned ice cream shop. Rudy took out his notepad and pen and wrote something down, grinning a little. Without looking up, Rudy said, "Have you had fun so far?" he asked, still writing. I had been enjoying it very much." At this, Rudy looked up from his pad and paper and saw her pointed look at it, and he replied, "Almost done." And he went back to writing, and seeming very content with himself with what he wrote, he tore it off carefully, but with anticipation, and slid it face down to her, sat back in his chair with a smile. Jeanette, who merely 30 seconds before was visibly tense about wanting to read the note, now eyed it suspiciously and looked from the note to Rudy, and then she read it. As if her eyes had fooled her, she reread it. Her spoon dropped, her eyes got huge, and she flushed instantly a deep red. "When would you like your good-night kiss? Tonight? Next time? Or would you rather save it for Dane, for when he can witness?" Rudy laughed. She'd been having such a good time with Rudy. She forgot that at the end of each date, and on the whole car ride back to her grandma's house, Jeanette's heart was pounding, unsure of what could happen. Rudy stopped the car before they were at her house. Rudy casually undid his seatbelt. "Do you have a way of getting in?" Jeanette, feeling even more awkward, blushed intensely. "Just when I thought you were incapable of thinking that way." "Wow." Rudy laughed, but quickly added, "I only meant so that you can get back into your house alone." Jeanette nodded, embarrassed that at a time when Rudy hadn't even intended to be flirtatious, she'd misinterpreted him that way. "You were bracing yourself. That's all right. You'll do fine when you're ready," Rudy said, amused. "If you knew that I didn't feel ready for kissing yet, then why—" "To teach you that even if he doesn't kiss you on that first date, doesn't mean he won't in the future. It took you a while tonight until you could open up a little with me. Earlier I thought you were trying to say that I was too shy, but now you're saying it's okay that I was feeling shy?" "It shows more of a brave side to tell a guy how you feel about it if you don't feel ready. Otherwise, he might think you're ready for the kiss, and instead he'll just feel that you're tense and wonder what he did wrong. Dane would appreciate it if you told him before he would try to kiss you that if you feel too nervous about it." "Okay. And remember to keep your head held up high enough that the hat doesn't fall forward, okay?" "Okay. Wait, I get to keep this?" "He'll wonder who it belongs to. Plus, it's a souvenir. Keep it." "Thank you. I'll call you tomorrow." "Okay. Good night." "Good night." When Jeanette went through the door, she felt like she had to be as quiet as possible. It was 10:30, and she didn't know if anyone would be awake. She didn't feel like she could sleep yet. She was surprised that things had gone so well, but she was confused by one thing. If that were a real date, why did it not feel different from if she went shopping with Lucille or her Aunt Paula? In fact, the very reason why she hadn't been thinking of when they would kiss was that after a while she forgot that it was supposed to be one. It didn't feel like how it felt when Rudy teased or flirted with her, and maybe that was it. Maybe the flirting was all a facade, and what she saw tonight was really him when he's not trying to make people like him. Jeanette was thinking about it, drinking water, and then she saw light shine through the curtain. It wouldn't have been Rudy because, of course, he'd already driven off by then. She pulled the curtain back, hesitantly, curious to see who it was. Dane stepped out, and then Jeanette remembered that Rudy knew Dane would be gone by noon, but never told her where he'd be. At first, Dane looked crestfallen as he trudged up the steps. Jeanette was starting to feel weird, standing there and watching him, especially with how unsettled he appeared. For a moment, she almost turned away, thinking about how it would feel to have someone there, witnessing you at a time when you felt your worst. But just then, he looked up and saw her, and of all the reactions that could have been, in a blink, keeping his eye on her, he softened in the light that shone through the window with a slow smile, showing in his eyes more than with his lips. It was a permitting smile. It meant that he was aware of her being there for him, and he was accepting of her. Jeanette's heart quickened, and as if her lips couldn't decide, she began to smile a little, but gave into her happiness at seeing him and being brighter. That very moment, she didn't mind if her actions revealed her heart, so long as he could see she'd be there if he ever needed her. After all, didn't Rudy say she needed to be more brave? Dane went out of her view, since she knew he was now going up to the door. Jeanette straightened the curtain back out and watched the door, wondering for a second if, even though her grandma had let him use a key, it would be rational to open it for him. But since he was so close to the door anyway, she decided not to, but to just wait where she was when he came through. She didn't know what would happen when he came through. Maybe he'd tell her about his day, but even if he came through and went straight to the guest room, he couldn't be oblivious to her waiting so she could talk with them. He's not rude. He wouldn't just pass me, especially not with that expression he'd shown when he saw me, right? Jeanette thought, smiling hopefully to herself. Even though she was expecting him to open the door when he did, it startled her out of her thoughts. For a moment there was a silence, but it didn't feel empty, because there was a sort of understanding as he put his jacket away, and she didn't let her gaze ever slip from him, that they would talk. As they sat down to talk, Dane said, "I was surprised to see you. I thought you'd be gone the whole weekend, but it was a pleasant surprise. Were you able to spend any time today with your friend?" Jeanette smiled so she couldn't help it. It felt like he was being genuine. "We went shopping together, and then we had some ice cream. We won't be able to spend the whole rest of the weekend together, but today was fun." "That's good. I like your hat, by the way." "Thank you. It was a gift." "But how did your day go? I saw when you got out." "Today was really difficult. I went to your aunt's house today, but I couldn't work up the nerve to get out and ring the bell. I parked at a for-sale home 2 houses down, waited. I saw my dad's car pull up in the empty driveway, and I shouldn't have been surprised, but the woman who answered was none other than my old babysitter. She didn't go by the name Paula. Her name was Kim. Kim is actually her middle name, so she didn't lie to you. But maybe your dad thought it would be best for you to meet her, so they could tell you together why they kept the relationship a secret. When I was a kid, my dad would tell me I just showed up one day on his doorstep. Kids around me whose parents were divorced tried convincing me otherwise. It wasn't until my 21st birthday when my dad bought me wine and proceeded to get drunk himself off of it, the truth came out. He told me that some lunatic boyfriend of a girl my dad had a short-lived affair with came to his door one day, threatening him not to touch her ever again, screaming loud for the whole neighborhood to pick up on, and insinuating my dad had taken advantage of her. My dad knew she had to have made it up, but he didn't remember which girl he'd been with at that time frame, who must have had a boyfriend. I've been thinking all day since I saw him meet her today about that conversation. If she loved him and me enough to be part of my life as a babysitter 6 years after, why couldn't she have just married him? Did she remain in your life even after she no longer babysat you? No. Are you still going to meet her and find out? I think the best way now is to just call my dad, tell him I'm going to move back here. If he doesn't mention the fact that she lives nearby, and that it would be much more convenient, then I'll be sure that he's trying to keep me from knowing that Paula is actually Kim. It sounds like a good idea, but are you actually moving here? Well, I can't be mooching off of you and your grandma. That wouldn't be right. Well, then you could get a job, and I'm sure Grandma wouldn't mind it. In that case, I'll be sure to ask her about it tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Jeanette turned around, beaming. Anytime you want to tell me anything, you can. His hug took her by surprise at first, and then she hugged him back, over the moon with joy because he was holding her to him. Seeing you there in the window waiting for me, it put my mind so much at ease. Well, I could see that something was bothering you, and I'd have given anything to see you smile. You have me smiling now, Dane said, lifting her chin. Jeanette blushed, but she couldn't hide her own smile. Then Dane's fingers stayed under her chin, caressing, and Jeanette got goosebumps. His eyes became more serious, and then his hand froze under her chin. Jeanette's heart was pounding. Is he about to kiss me? She thought, swallowing hard. Dane's smile returned, and his hands grabbed hers slightly as he stepped backwards, lifting them a little as he said, "Good night, Jeanette." Jeanette, not realizing until she sighed that she'd been holding her breath, smiled brightly. "Good night."